Welcome back to another episode of Random Talks, where we talk random interesting topics for you to practice your listening skills. I'm Teacher David, as usual, here with you. And for the first time with us today is Teacher Midori, that is going to be with me and with our lovely guest today. So, hi, Midori.
Hello. Hi. Hello. How's everybody here?
Really, really good.
Good.
Thank you. Thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank you so much for the invitation. This is exciting. This is the first
Yeah,
time for me.
yeah, you're going to love it, I'm sure. All right. So
Having fun.
before starting our program and introducing our guest today, don't forget to follow us on all of our social media. So Midori, if you please tell us all of our social media.
Sure. There are a lot of places where you can listen to us or you can see us, especially like this podcast right now. So, for example, you can look for us at Apple Podcast. You can look for us, listen to us in Spotify. Obviously, Facebook and YouTube. The videos are up there each week. We are starting our second season. Remember, this is our second season now. So each week you can look for us, and we have also Instagram,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And some content for you in TikTok.
Mhm.
Not exactly these programs, but other type of dynamic that we have with our teacher Pablo. So that's also very, very interesting to you. And you can find us everywhere on this
Platforms.
platforms, exactly, as Columbus School BCS.
BCS. Yes. All right. Thank you, Midori. So our topic for today is something big for a lot of people, especially a lot of teens that are struggling with what to do after high school, right?
Mhm.
And what to do with their lives if they want to get work experience, if they want to pursue a career. And today with us is Manfred, who is a space engineer, really interesting, and
Yes.
he's gonna talk about his experience from deciding what to study to actually doing it, and then what is after for him, right? So, hello, Manfred.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. Just like teacher Midori said, this is my first time doing something like this, so it's a really new thing to me as well. But thank you for the invitation. I think this is really good. The things you do for the students. So, well, here I am.
Thank you.
All
And
right.
it's gonna be really interesting because Manfred and I really go way back, really a lot of years back. So it's gonna be a really interesting to know what he's been up to, right?
Yes.
So
Okay.
the first thing that I would like to ask you is, where does this journey of deciding what to do with your life begin?
Well, wow, that's a very big question. Um, it really goes back as early as I was just a kid.
Mhm,
Ever since I remember, I wanted to. I don't know. I found passion in a lot of things, and just like every other kid, you want to be a firefighter when you're a kid. You want to be a cop. You want to be a pilot, and I did really carry on that dream of me to be a pilot up to high school, I believe.
Mhm.
However, things changed drastically when I graduated high school,
mhm,
and that was because I knew English. That was a major door opening for me. And yeah, just
Exactly.
like David said, we go back a lot of years actually studying, meeting here in the community. Well, it's
mhm.
really small. We know from friends of us, and actually, I believe we studied English together
Yeah,
when
at some
when
point.
we were kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like I said, this goes far back in the past, and I think, yeah, that ever since I was a kid, it was a major a milestone for me to
Mhm.
start learning English, which will
Yeah.
take me to where I am today.
Mhm. And why this decision of studying in English, right?
Yes, yes, that was actually, yeah, one of the major challenges of taking the decisions I took. Like I said, when I was in high school, I had the dream to be a pilot,
Mhm,
but from opportunities of friends of the family, I started exploring options of
mhm,
studying outside of the country, still with the dream of being a pilot. However,
Mhm.
I was on a trip in one of these schools, and they had other programs. They had other majors to study. They had engineering programs. They had business departments and many other things that I was able to observe, and I was able to take a look and a glimpse of it when I was there. And well, it was the introduction to this other industry and this other field that caught my attention. And well, we started exploring options of what to do, applying for scholarships, looking
Mhm.
at other opportunities. And yeah, and when the time came, well, I got granted a scholarship. I had the support of my parents, and I had
Mhm.
the chance and I had the opportunity to study outside of the country in the United States. And well, yeah, like you said, everything was English. Everything was a new world. And if I had not learned English when I was younger, I don't think I would have been able to catch my dream.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's another interesting thing that I tend to think a lot is, what would I do if I hadn't learned English, you know? So,
Yes.
have you ever imagined like something like this? Like, have you ever thought of what would have happened if
Yes,
this? Uh-huh.
totally. When I was a kid, I remember I used to not like to go to English lessons.
Mhm.
It was because of my parents who always kept telling me, you have to learn something else. You have to learn English. This is going to help you in your future. It's going to open more doors for you, right?
Mhm.
But at the time, I was not very aware of it. I was just like, maybe this is just like another thing in the afternoon I had to do for not to be at home for my parents or something like that, right?
Mhm.
But of course, it wasn't the case. If I had not learned English, just I mean, now that I've grown with the years, I've got to understand the importance of learning a different language, and
Mhm.
especially English.
Yeah.
If I had not known English, I don't think I could have ever taken place in this space industry.
Mhm.
Everything we
Of
do is
course.
related to other countries. Everything we do is related to international affairs as well. So
Mhm.
much of it, if not entirely, is based upon developments that are done in the US, in Europe, in
Mhm.
other countries, and the common language for understanding it's English.
Mhm.
It
Same
is
for other
English.
people who not just are part of the aviation or the space industry. Many other industries in the world right now are based on that, on sharing things among different countries. And
Mhm.
one of the main languages of communication right now it's English. And if something I've learned is that English is a door opening for career opportunities,
Yes.
and so will be any other language that you learn.
Yeah, and that's something
So how about
that we stress, right,
Right?
to our students.
Yeah, that's completely right.
Mhm.
yeah, but for example, how about can you tell us it is very different for some people that we are in well right now we are in La Paz and we study English and we get the exposure. We may be in contact with other people, but it is still not like 100% the thing that we use. It
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
mostly Spanish, and once in a while we use English, right? We get to practice. But then you have the chance to live, to really
Mhm.
be 100% immersed in the language. What that transition, was it easy for you? Was it hard? Did you see like a different point of view of the language or the benefits of really having this foundation in English?
Right. Yes. Yeah. That's completely right. First of, yeah, what you mentioned, it's completely true. We live in a very in a place that's based upon tourism. We have a lot of guests from primarily the U.S., but most of the world as well, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, we learn English as now it's part of school programs. But back in the past, when I started learning English, it was mostly
Yeah.
just if you wanted to take
Mhm.
extra lessons in the
Mm-hmm.
afternoon, right? But
Exactly.
yes, it's a different thing to just learn English in the classroom than to completely embrace it and make it part of your life, right? There's people that do it that way. There's people that are more natural to it. I have a friend that
Mm-hmm.
said I learned English from watching movies, and I believe it. It can be done.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a different challenge, and people that really want to learn fully the the skills to make use of this of English as a primary language, yeah, they have to just take a deep dive into it and embrace it.
Mhm.
When I started using English as my primary language for communication was when I started university,
Mhm.
when I went to college. Yes, it was not easy because even though I knew English, I had learned English for up to 6 7 years, I believe,
Mhm.
which is
Uh-huh.
more than typically people go to lessons for.
Mhm.
I thought I had the skills to speak the language naturally, right? But
Mhm.
this was not the case. I could understand most people. I could talk to most people, but it would not be in a very fluent way. It would not be in a very narrative way.
Mhm.
But it was scary at the beginning. I was very nervous of speaking to someone else about
Mhm.
anything literally in English,
Anything. Mhm.
and specifically, I felt more scared and nervous because I was not just having casual conversations. I was speaking with people about school stuff, about class material, and particularly
Yeah.
with professors. I had to communicate in a very clear way, right?
Mhm.
So it was very scary. The first few weeks, I was very out of it. There were
Mhm.
some words that I had never listened before.
Mhm.
Transitioning from the way we learn things here. For example, we use math jargon very differently here in
Yeah.
Mexico
Okay.
or any Hispanic speaking country. You have these words that you learn, but then you've never learned them in English, right?
Mhm.
Because most English programs, they teach you how to communicate in general, but
Yeah.
they don't
Exactly.
teach you how to speak math jargon
Mhm.
in a different language, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe some, I don't know, thermodynamics language, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not a language per se, but the terminology, the words, some keywords, some key phrases that they use that I had never listened before. And yeah, it was very scary at the beginning, but after a few weeks, I was now more comfortable. I felt now more part of it. I felt more natural to it, and I just carried on and felt more comfortable each time. And
Yeah.
well, I was able to fully embrace it at the end.
Yeah, and
Now
especially
you mentioned something. Oh,
in
I'm sorry.
yeah. No, you go, you go.
Okay, so you mentioned something that we think is very, very important. You mentioned skills,
Mhm.
because when we learn English, it is very structure based. The grammar, the vocabulary. Yes,
Mhm.
we do have obviously segments of developing skills, but it's very, very different when you have to use the English
Yeah.
instead of just writing the answer, answering to the teacher, or sharing opinions in the classroom. So once you had the opportunity to study college, that's when you said, hey, this is going to be a lot more useful. The skills that I have to develop in order to really apply my knowledge of the language and obviously get your career done in other studies.
Right. I think I think of it now as English is going to be something for me and I think for any non-native speaker, a thing that you never fully finish learning. It's an
Mhm.
ever growing language and experience. Like I said, I had to learn many other things, talking about specific topics, but
Mhm.
I'm 100% sure if I decided to go into something different today, like economics or I don't know, business, I
Mhm.
would have to learn
Yeah.
different things as well because I'm not part of that
Of
industry. I'm
course.
not part of that world, right? So even though we learned English for a lot of years and a lot of things, if one is truly uh, desired to learn English and to use it at its full extent, you have to keep learning and you have to keep expanding your knowledge.
Mm. Yeah. And,
Exactly.
and now talking about the experience of studying abroad,
Mhm.
what have been some comments from your friends maybe that they stayed here and they studied a higher education here? How do you see this difference between country to country on the education?
in education, solely in education, it's I have mixed feelings about it.
Mhm.
There are some things that I find great. For example, when I had just started college,
Mhm.
well, you start by taking your general electives, right? And
Yep.
some general
Mhm.
topics like calculus, physics, and these are
Mhm.
topics that we, at least myself, I had experience with in high school. You know,
Mhm.
Mexican
Yeah.
school, Mexican teachings. So I was very happy and very pleased to know that most of the things I went under these courses were things that I already knew and from high school.
Mhm.
Good.
So this was
Mhm.
a big highlight for me, because I was like, okay, well, we're not so behind from the
Mhm.
rest of the world. We're actually somewhat ahead in terms of these topics, right? However, as you go more advanced into the program, of course, Mexico is not as involved in the space industry as other countries
Mhm.
are, right?
Mhm.
And there, then we can say that I was learning from the experts, and one of the things that I find uh, very useful was that most of my professors were people that worked in the industry, people that had experience. So that was very good for me to know, because I was sure that I was getting material from people who actually worked in these things, right?
Mhm.
But going back to other things, I still have friends here. I have my high school friends that I see every day when I come here for vacations. But I'm not. I don't think we're so far behind from the world. I think that
Mhm.
Mexico education, it's in a good standing for multiple areas of study. I have friends that
Mhm.
have engineering degrees. I have others that have computer science degrees, and I think that it's there. We're part of the. We can compete. We can
Mhm.
compete.
We can compete. That's good.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us right now about your current endeavors?
Well,
What are you doing right now?
yes. After I graduated on the U.S. And I got my engineering degree, my Bachelor of Science degree, I came back home. I worked for 13 months on an airline as an engineer, of course.
Mhm.
I gathered some experience, which I was very happy to do, and I was very thankful to the company that gave me the opportunity.
Mhm.
But with this whole thing of the pandemic,
Yeah.
I was starting to have, like problems like everybody else.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to be just another year where I would not, either continue studying or continue gathering experience.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So up from the beginning, I was exploring the opportunities to study a master's program.
Mhm.
Well, a higher education, like you say, not
Mhm.
specifically. I didn't have anything in particular in mind. However, yeah, at the very beginning of it, I started just looking into multiple options, multiple
Mhm.
opportunities here in the country, outside as well. I was just wanted to explore the possibilities.
Mhm.
When the time came, I applied for these programs. I was accepted, and everything I had to do was, well, look for funding, right?
Mhm.
Exactly.
And I turned to kind of see it, which we probably all have
Yeah.
heard of.
Mhm.
They still had the applications open for scholarships.
Mhm.
I applied to one of them, and well, I was selected, so I had the opportunity to go now into my current challenge, which is my master's degree in astronautics and space engineering, which is very related
Yeah.
to the previous degree that I obtained. I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with the program. I've had the opportunity to work with people primarily in the United Kingdom space
Mhm.
industry. But of course, I have colleagues, I have professors that are from other parts of the world, and they do other things. And well, that's my current endeavor, like you say, and I'm very happy with it. I look forward to doing big things, and well, I'm not finished yet, but I will continue to study for the remainder of the year.
Really, really nice. And I think that because I know you, I can say that I feel like really proud because to see another Mexican doing what
Yeah.
you are doing, it's something that really speaks to me, and I feel really, really proud about that. Just because you're like long term friend, and
Right.
I have known you from all of these years.
Yeah.
Um, but
We have
especially for that.
Yeah, we appreciate those comments, and something that I was not aware of when I started taking these adventures was how big our presence is.
Yeah.
When I was there in the U.S., I for the first week, I didn't know much people other than my roommates and such, right? But
Mhm.
afterwards, I was introduced to this whole international students community,
Mhm.
and I had about a dozen of other Mexican classmates,
Mhm.
right? Not just in my program, but others. And now that I'm in the UK and I'm also again as a student, again I have it's more than a handful of Mexican students that were there in my program, in other
Yeah.
programs. And I've been reached out by many other students from different parts of Mexico who
Mhm.
are wishing to study
Yeah.
in the UK as well. And it's something that I've got to learn and I've got to understand is that our presence in the world, our footprint in the world is not just what most people think. And we're there and we're making an impact. We're contributing to the industry, and that's something that makes me very very proud as well, and something that I look forward being part of.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You know, when I was in high school, we had an exchange program there, and there was a girl that came from France, and she was actually very surprised when she came to Mexico because she really thought that she was going to encounter people like with sombreros and ponchos and stuff like that. And it's good to know that there is a whole possibility of broadening your experiences and, as you say, to leave like a footprint on other cultures, and that helps really for the country to grow as well,
Mhm.
to have
Yes.
this. Yes, exactly. And I think that number one is changing our way, our perspective, and to be a lot more open to, you know, learning other, any other, not specifically just English, but
Mhm.
to be open to learning more stuff, right?
Right. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that are kind of either scared or not a little bit insecure about what to
Hmm.
do in these major next steps if they're in high school or college, or they want to change completely what they do.
Mhm.
I think that most people are unaware of what's happening out there. And I think, well, this is one of the opportunities to understand and to get to know it, right?
Mhm.
Uh, our presence is right there. People like us. People.
Exactly.
I've had professors that I've had great experiences with. I've had colleagues that are very, very happy to share the moments that we've shared, and our yes, there's the cultural thing that I
Mhm.
think it's going to be
Mhm.
very hard to flip on the other side, right? But it's not our intent. We have to embrace it as well. But yeah, the major learning point here is that um, not be scared, because we can take part of the world as well, and our footprint is right there, and it's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, and just like one of the last questions would be, what advice would you give to all of these people who maybe are scared of doing or taking the leap of studying because they have maybe the language or they are starting to learning the language? So what would be your advice for them?
Right. Well, this whole conversation started as learning English as a door opening skill for
Mhm.
your future, right? So
Mhm.
I would say that, you know, regardless if it's English, it's French, it's Portuguese, whatever language that people are kind of interested into learning, it's gonna be, it's not gonna be negative, it's not gonna have a negative impact in your life,
Mhm.
but a positive
Mhm.
one.
Mhm.
So I would highly recommend to learn languages, learn anything. And if it's English, well, the first thing you have to do is learn the language and
Mhm.
practice
Yeah.
it, because you will not be able to make use of it at its full extent until you embrace it and you make it part of your life. And one advice I have for people was that when I was in high school and I learned enough English as to have a conversation with someone, I would always be a little bit, would break it down. I would chop it because, I
Mhm.
was looking for the right word, looking for the right expression. but through video games, actually, I was able to
Oh,
practice a lot.
Mhm.
I remember asking for my parents for a Christmas gift that was just a microphone, so I
Mhm.
could speak with people when I was playing video games. And really, the point here is that it can be anything, like just having a conversation with people
mm-hmm,
on downtown, speaking to strangers on video games,
Mhm.
anything. These topics, these podcasts that you have as guests, that they really help for people to either practice their listening skills, like you said, writing skills, and and many other things. So that's it. Practicing, it's going to be the key for it. And another thing is that uh, myself, I've by being part of at least another two countries and experiencing the life there, uh, two languages, I'm gonna say it's not enough. It's not enough. Um, I feel like I should learn more. I don't know any other language, but I feel like I should learn another one, for the sake of myself, for the sake
Mhm.
of experiencing more things. And like I said in the beginning, it's not going to have a negative impact in your life, but a positive one. It's only going to help you, and it's going to help you grow.
excellent advice.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel
Well,
inspired.
Thank you.
yeah, and that's a take that we would like to have on students, right? To that they
Hmm.
jump, they make this jump on learning because, well,
Exactly.
they can see in you what they can achieve, right?
Right.
Exactly.
It's like many other things in life. Just take a leap of faith and
Mhm.
go for it. Learning English is not, it's not a scary thing to do. It's not something that you should be scared of, but it's just gonna make you more comfortable.
Mhm.
Once you reach that barrier into feeling yourself and expressing yourself in a different language, I think one of the greatest outcomes that I got out of it, regardless of if I get a school degree or anything, it gave me more confidence.
Mhm.
It
Hmm.
gave me truly a big amount of confidence in myself. And if I can speak to a stranger in a different language, maybe
Mhm.
I can go for other things, you know.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it really gave me a lot of confidence in myself.
Yeah, totally. Well,
There you go.
yeah. Thank you so much for your time and for your experience, for sharing your experience with us. We are so glad that you took the
Yes.
time to talk to us and to demonstrate other people that they can, right? That they have the abilities, and if they work to that, or they put their all effort in that, well,
Hmm.
they can achieve it, right?
Right. Yeah. Thank you
Exactly.
for the invitation. Like I said, I think this is really great. The things you do for students, and you guys are the builders for futures in people. You're gonna have the biggest of the impact in people. So I really think what you do is it's great, and keep doing it. It's very good. I like the idea that you guys are doing. I like the program, and well, I appreciate also your time.
No, thank you, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
If
All
I
And
right,
may,
David. Yes.
if I may, one last comment, last
yeah, sure.
advice. It's
Mhm.
uh, for students, choose an accent. Choose an accent when you're learning English. For me, it's impossible to speak in different accents. So American English is the one I went with, and I stick with it. So
Mhm.
choose an accent. That's gonna be my recommendation.
All right. Well, thank you so
Okay.
much. Thank you, Midori, also for being here with us for the first time, and I hope not for the last.
Hopefully, not for the last. I will be watching you.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. Remember that you can listen to this podcast on every social media that we have, which is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram, Facebook,
Hmm.
YouTube, and don't forget to take a look on the content that Teacher Pablo is making in TikTok, which is really fun, right?
Exactly.
So we will see you very soon, guys. And thank you, Manfred, for your time, and thank you for your company.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.